So as we covered all last week, the security situation in Yemen is heading downhill with the collapse of the pro-U.S. government there. But the White House says that it will not hurt our efforts to fight al-Qaeda, or ACAP, as it's known in that area, and that there's no need to change the strategy. Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman John McCain slammed the administration on that for failing to recognize what he says is a growing threat in the region. Here he is.
I'm afraid that he and the president have lost touch with reality. Iran is on the march throughout. In Yemen, it's not AQAP that's taken over the government. It's the Houthis, who, guess what, are backed and supported by the Iranians.
Dan Benjamin is a former counterterrorism chief for the U.S. State Department, and he joins me now. Good to have you here today, Dan. But, you heard the exchange with Bob Schieffer and John McCain, and he claims that the president is out of touch on this issue. What do you think?
No, I don't think the president is out of touch. This has been a development that's been long in the making. The Houthis took over Sana'a in September. They'd been making steady gains for many months. But this was not something that the U.S. could halt without itself intervening in Yemen, and I don't think that that was something that anyone would have supported.
So obviously ACAP is a serious threat, and this is their main territory in Yemen. How does it affect our ability to have intelligence on the ground, to understand what's going on there, and to thwart any planning they might have?
Well, obviously this is going to hurt our ability to equip and train Yemeni security forces. But that said, we do have good intelligence coming out of Yemen, and we do have all kinds of assets for air power. So we can disrupt plots as they are hatched. And it's important to remember that AQAP is going to be very busy fighting with the Houthis. But that said, chaos is the natural element for terrorist organizations, and this is going to make the matter more difficult for the United States.
Yeah, it's a good point about ACAP fighting the Houthis, and that will occupy a lot of their time and energy perhaps in that area. But you make a larger point about how this demonstrates the battle that's going on in this whole region between the Saudis and Iran. What do you see there?
Well, this is a struggle that has been shaping up really since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. And both sides have tried many different strategies, have pumped enormous amounts of money into different groups, and it's coming to a head now. They let loose forces that were very, very great, much larger than anything that we could easily deal with, and it's really not in the first instance about us. But we see this in Iraq, we see it in Syria. We see it in Yemen, we see it in Bahrain. The sectarian conflict is the defining feature of this moment in the Middle East, and that is something that we need to adapt our strategy to recognize.
Yeah. All right. Dan, thank you very much. Good to speak with you today.